This is Buying the Hobby, where sports meets strategy and every card tells a story. From breakout stars to monster pools, we break it down so you know who to chase and when to strike. Let's dive in.
So we have Bruce's owner, Josh Snyder, in the studio with us. Thank you for coming. Thank you for bringing Bruce.
Absolutely.
Like, this is awesome. I'm a dog lover, so this is my dream, bringing the podcast and Bruce here with us. So thank you so much for coming. Let's talk about Bruce. Take me back to the beginning. How did you and Bruce first meet, and what made you know that he was the one?
I get this question a lot, actually. So Bruce's breeder actually found me. They heard about the story with Milo and everything like that. So she contacted me via email and was like, "Hey, I want you to have one of these dogs. Amazing line, everything like that." So one thing led to another, and next thing I know, I'm showing up, and there's, I forgot how many, a bunch of puppies running around, and so obviously with being a bat dog, there's a lot that goes into it. So a couple things that I look for. Number one is drive. So I want a puppy that's able to play, that has, drive, as in like that play drive and whatnot. So I showed up with what I call a flirt pole. So it's like a long stick with a rope on it, and then the end is a tug toy. And all that tool is really meant to do is see how I can keep the dog or the puppies focus on me. So I did that, and then obviously I wanted a puppy that wanted to be around me. So
That's
that was
a starter.
yeah. I don't want an independent puppy. And then the last thing was loud noises. So I kind of practice all of those things, made some clapping noises, yelling noises, all that stuff, and kind of ruled the puppies that were running away out, that they would just be a little bit more difficult to work with right off the get-go.
Especially in a stadium.
Yeah. Because obviously I knew I wanted another dog to carry on Milo's legacy. So I was thinking about all those stadium distractions, all the yelling, the screaming, some fireworks at the Red Wings, field, everything like that. Yep. So,
no, that's awesome. So, talk about experience from last weekend down in DC. Was it your first time there? Was Bruce's first time there? How was it?
Yeah, first time at Nats Park. So incredible, absolutely incredible.
Beautiful stadium, beautiful stadium. One of my favorites.
Yeah, it was very surreal at certain points. Walking up to the stadium is just massive, right? So the Nats actually had us in the hotel that was 1 block away, directly across from the stadium. So I'm walking up with Bruce, and I'm like, wow, like this is huge, right? And so we walk around, and then we walk to the lot where all the players go in, and I walk up with Bruce, and they're like, "Oh, you're Bruce," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's Bruce." They're like, "You're good to go." I'm like, "Holy crap!" So that was a surreal moment where, we walked into the parking lot where I see all the players come in, everything like that. And it was like, wow.
Yeah. I think I even saw a walk-in video.
Yeah.
Of Bruce going in like he was a player.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was incredible. So that was pretty surreal. And then obviously they brought us into the hallway where all the players walk in from the parking lot down to the field. And that was another surreal moment where I was like, you see the W on the wall, welcome to Nats Park, all the things. And I was just like, wow, this is incredible, So and we kind of hung out there for a little bit, hung out there with Bruce, obviously. And I was just throwing his ball to him, which he just loves. And then they brought out a bunch of gifts that they had for us. They had a jersey for my wife, for my daughter.
Awesome.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
was it a good reception with the players? They seem to have a fun time with Bruce? Do they get to kind of hang out
Yeah.
with him?
Yeah. So when we got onto the field, there wasn't really any players kind of out there. We were pretty early on the
Mhm.
field. So as we were like practicing and, the media was taking pictures, I was doing interviews for MLB, things like
Mhm.
that. The players were kind of coming onto the field. And Josh Bell was there. So
Mhm.
big dude, big
Yeah,
dude.
he's tall.
He's a big dude. So he came up and gave Bruce some love, which is
Aw.
pretty cool. A couple of interactions with the players and whatnot. There's actually a Marlins player that came over as well. So that was pretty cool as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was really just gonna ask, because Josh Bell or not Josh Bell, Woods being one of them. Were there any players that kind of had already met Bruce before?
Yeah.
When they were down in AAA.
Yeah, I don't remember if James Wood ever did meet
Mhm.
Bruce. Obviously he played for the Wings. But we didn't, unfortunately, we didn't see Wood there.
Gotcha. So talk to me. We saw Bruce wearing a debut patch. Is
Mhm.
there any chance there's gonna be a card made out of it? Because on our baseball channel, that's one of the biggest hits you're looking for every
Yep.
year. I think it'd be awesome if they could put it on a card.
Yeah. So I don't want to say too much, but it's in the works.
It's in
the works.
I think that'd
So,
be awesome. I
Yeah.
think that would be really cool, and maybe somehow it can get into your hands one day.
Yeah.
That Bruce can have over here. How do you train like a dog to fetch a bat? It's not your typical toy.
Mhm.
What does that process look like? How did that kind of
Yeah, I
come to be
mean,
with Bruce?
yeah, obviously it's a lot of work. So literally day one, like I was saying about the flirt pole.
Yep.
So that I use the flirt pole as kind of like Bruce's reward. So anytime he had interest in the bat, then we would immediately go into playing with the flirt pole. So I just kind of built him up from that literally day one. Ever since, I brought him home first day, we were playing with the little mini bats that the Red Wings sell. And I was just, throwing it to him, and he already had that, that drive, that
Yeah.
instinct to fetch the bat and bring it back to me. So it helped me out a lot in that sense. And then obviously once he brought me the little bat back, then we'd play with the flirt pole.
Mhm.
And I just built him up from there. And obviously the bats got bigger as he got bigger. Probably one of the biggest struggles. I don't know if you've seen Bruce's first game, but one of the biggest struggles was him transferring from like a medium-sized bat, like say a youth wood bat, to
A major league bat.
yeah. So
It's a big difference.
yeah. So in his first like debut last September, he was just like all over the place with the bat.
Mm.
So that was kind of a hurdle that we had to overcome, if you will.
Mhm.
And but and still, even in the beginning of this season, he still kind of struggled with that. So what I did was I actually put a piece of electrical tape on the bat where the balance point was, and just built him up to kind of focusing on that point and grabbing that point of the bat. So it's still an ongoing process. Players, James Wood, they still practice. You know what I mean?
of
So
course.
it's still an ongoing practice with Bruce, and kind of perfecting the craft, if you will. So that's pretty much
Yeah.
how I
Fascinating.
built him up to do that. And obviously integrating distractions like we
Yeah.
talked about, everything that the ballpark has to offer. Bruce, people screaming, chanting his name, whatever. It's loud noises, everything, players on the field. There's just obviously a lot going on.
Yep.
So it was, definitely another hurdle that we had
I'm
to
sure.
cross.
That's something I was thinking about when one of the earlier questions was with people screaming. I'm sure it's all night. Bruce.
Mhm.
Like, does he kind of get distracted by that at all?
I think he's
that's
immune to
tough.
it. I think he's
Yeah.
immune to it. So when we practice at Innovative Field, whoever's like helping me, you know, I have kind of somebody on the Red Wing staff that throws the bat to him and then runs to you know, halfway to first base or whatever. Sometimes I'll like have that person like just stand there and just Bruce chant his name. So, you know, if somebody does that in, you know, in the first row right there behind home plate or something like that, he's just like automatically immune to it. He's heard it before. You know, and that's the distractions, like I said, is just, you know, definitely another tier of the whole training aspect.
And it seems like from that, he'd be very, very well trained to hearing your voice and the tone of your voice, where if you say it, then it's like, okay, now I can be alert. That's awesome. I guess I never really thought about that. Everybody else calling out the name, and that can be a lot for, I guess, a dog to take on while they're trying to do their job and fetch the bats. Because I know my dog, you say his name, doesn't matter who, he's snapping, he's running to you. So no, that's awesome. What are Bruce's favorite things to do outside fetching bats? Like at home, outside, or just at the park? Yeah,
we go to the park a lot. You know, I can only get so many distractions outside of, you know, when the team's away and going to the Innovative Field and whatnot. You know, there's not many distractions there when it's not a game. So I go to different parks. I kind of target playgrounds, you know, throwing the bat in front of the playground, because golden retriever and kids kind of go hand in hand. So this dog absolutely loves kids. So that's definitely one thing. Like I said, we practice in front of a lot of playgrounds, parks, dogs walking by, things like that. And, you know, I would say we practice every single day at the house. And now kind of his reward toy, instead of that flirt pole when he was a puppy, his reward toy is just the chuck it ball. So then we play fetch and with the ball after he brings me back the bat, and I make a big deal about it. And, you know, he zooms around, and it's all about having fun with him. And, you know, the day that he's not having fun out there, probably, you know, we're done. So.
Understandable. Did you ever think you'd be able to fetch a bat in an MLB game when you started training bat dogs?
I'll tell you, when anyone who really knows me or knows kind of the story of Milo can kind of attest to this. So leading up to that first game with Milo, I did not eat. I did not sleep. It was definitely something that I was really anxious about. That amount of people doing it live, you know, everything like that. So, and then I kind of proved to myself that I was capable of doing it. And it just kind of obviously went off from there. And now it's just, you know, second nature for me. But those first couple of games were tough, were really tough. Yeah, there was a lot of anxiety and nerves that went into them. So, and now, like I said, it's I'm definitely way more comfortable leading up to the games. And like I said in the beginning, it was really a trial run. To be honest with you, the Wings were like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna try this out. Let's see how it goes." Right? And it kind of just snowballed. And then, you know, they immediately, after that first game with Milo, they immediately added 2 more dates in there. So that same season. So after you know, after we kind of proved to them and to everyone else that we could do it, then they you know, then they added 2 more dates as kind of like an encore, if you will. So
Gotcha. If you don't mind, for those who don't know, would you mind telling the story of Milo?
Yeah. So the Red Wings came to me. Tim Doohan contacted the dog training company that I worked for at the time and was like, "Hey, you guys have a bat dog?" And I'm like, "What?" You know, no one had really never even heard of it. So then my boss came to me and was like, "Yeah, the Red Wings just reached out and they want a dog that fetches bats. And how do you feel about teaching your golden retriever Milo?" And I was like, man, I don't know. Like that's that's crazy. 12,000 people in that stadium. I'm like, come on. Me?
Yeah.
You know? So I thought about it for I would say several days. And I almost turned it down. To be honest with you, I was like, listen, this isn't for me. I don't even really like getting in front of people. You know what I mean? So yeah, and just one thing led to another. And like I said, that first game, I agreed to it, obviously. That first game, we practiced like crazy. I mean, I threw every single scenario that would be at the ballpark at him leading up to that first game, and it was a hit.
Yeah.
That first send the first time I sent him to the bat, he actually looked around and was like, nope, came right back to the dugout. And I was like, wow. Right. And then and he was on like a long leash at that point, because I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
Right. So I unclipped the leash and was like, all or nothing. Sent him to the second bat. He got it. Perfect ever since.
That's awesome.
So
has there been a worry where like maybe he'd get distracted and like run to the outfield or like somehow run in the infield or run to a player or something like that? Has that ever kind of crossed your mind?
Any scenario that you could possibly think about has crossed my mind. You know, going to the bathroom on the field. I'm sure you've seen the videos of that dog, right? Run in the infield, run in the bases, run into, the mound, not going out at all. Every single scenario we practice for, and I continue to practice for that, just because you never know.
Got to prepare for anything kind of thing.
Yeah,
well, that's
exactly.
Awesome. How old is Bruce?
He's 1 year and 9 months. So
is he done growing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's about as tall as he's going to be. He might, bulk up a little bit, but other than that, he's pretty much full grown.
Gotcha. That's awesome. Is there anything, kind of to wrap it up a little bit, is there anything maybe in the future? I know you might not be able to say much, but is there anything in the future to look out for with Bruce, with any special events or?
Yeah, I mean,
anything?
So we're going to try to do as much as we can, right? Obviously it's been a huge hit. All the publicity, everything like that. We're going to try, like I said, to do as much as we can for the community. And our mission is just to bring people together. Yeah. So anytime we can put those two together, we're going to do it. Yeah. Plain and simple. So
well, that's awesome. I can tell you got a bunch of fans here at We the Hobby that loves Bruce. To see him in like the Discords or just being sent around. Everybody loves that dog. So you've done an amazing job, and it's awesome. And it's I'm sure makes so many kids happy to see him running on the field. Yeah, it adds a different element to every game. So appreciate it. Yeah, thank you for coming in.
Yeah, thanks
Josh
for
Schneider, owner of Bruce. Thank you to Bruce for coming in as well. Maybe have him on again at some point, but no, this was awesome. So thank you.
Yeah,
thank you very much for coming on. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thanks for the invite.
From a golden dog to a chase for a golden trophy, the NBA Finals. We have Tyler here with us this week. Connor is out. We're going to talk NBA Finals. Appreciate you coming on, Tyler. I mean, one of, if not the biggest ball knowers at We the Hobby. So it's a perfect time as we're wrapping up the NBA Finals already. It's a pleasure having you on, my friend.
Appreciate it, brother. Yeah, love talking basketball. Obviously biased towards my Nuggets, but not our year this year. So see what we're doing with the Thunder and the Pacers.
Oh yeah, so let's talk about it. I mean, OKC's leading 3-2. Did you get to watch Game 5?
Yes. So I was live last night with Nate, and we had Game 5 on. It was pretty close all the way through, except for the Thunder really just never let them get too close. Yeah,
it got. I think like the closest was maybe 5 at the end. It got like 100 to 105 or something like that. It feels like every game somebody's taken a large lead, at least a decent sized lead, and then come back and made it close. They either won or they lost, but it was semi-close.
Yeah, that's been the Pacers' MO all playoffs.
Literally.
Though. Like if you look at the comebacks against the Knicks, or like how many leads did the Celtics unfortunately blow in that series prior to the Tatum injury?
Earlier in the series too.
Yeah, they do it all the time. You just can't count them out at any point.
It's really been the series. It's been the, other than like OKC kind of making their way through, it's kind of been the playoffs of the underdog. A little bit. Whether you're down in a game, you come back and win, or just the Pacers are literally in the finals and nobody probably really saw that much coming over the Celtics, the Knicks. I wouldn't even throw the Bucks, the Cavs. It's just kind of been the playoffs of the underdog.
Yeah, if you look at the 4 teams that actually made the conference finals, only the Knicks had even ever won an NBA championship because the Thunder didn't have one going back to the Sonics.
Yep.
Pacers have gotten to the finals and never won it because of that Michael Jordan guy.
Yep.
Kind of kept them out.
Yep.
And then obviously the T-Wolves, even with Garnett and back in the day, they never even really got close.
Yep.
So this entire run has just been totally up in the air. You've really never known who is going to take it the whole time.
Yep.
People have been really high on OKC, obviously, from the regular season, but even they've looked like beatable at moments.
Oh, 100%. Honestly, this could be a lot different series than what it is right now. 3-2 heading back to Indiana. If OKC didn't blow the lead in Game 4, it would have been 3-1, and you don't know how Game 5 would have been if it was up 3-1. OKC could have kind of raised the flag and kind of gave up, and it's going to be a whole different series if Indiana didn't blow that game.
Yeah, as much as I'm obviously biased towards my Nuggets, so I'm pulling heavy for the Pacers.
Me too. I would
The
love
Thunder
seeing
have
them.
really gotten to the point of being almost battle tested really fast. If you look at the games they played,
Yep.
they had to go to 7 with the Nuggets.
Yep.
They've had a bunch of close series. They've also been blowing people out by
Yep.
50 just intermittently,
Yep.
though. But you really can't count them out. They're so young, and that's really scary for the rest of the league. So if
And
they
maybe-
get a title this
yeah.
early,
Maybe it plays to their favor too. The fact that they are young and they're kind of I not that like you're more in shape when you're younger, but like you could probably withstand longer games, playing longer series, and just kind of maybe honestly not having the experience plays to their favor in so many different ways where like you're not overthinking.
yeah, that's what I was just going to say that too.
Just
It's
not
like
overthinking.
you don't know that you're not supposed to get here every
Exactly.
year. You don't
Exactly.
realize that it's supposed to be harder than it feels right now because
Yep.
they're just not used to it yet.
Yep.
Like maybe a couple of years down the road, if they manage to keep this core together, unlike when they had, the original 3 of
Yep.
Durant, Harden, and Russ.
Yep.
If they keep this core together of probably just, if you keep SGA, Jalen Williams, and Chet,
Yep.
and build around that, if they can
Yep.
keep this core together, we could be looking at multiple years of this team being like right at the top,
Yep.
right at the top of the odds to be back in the championship. So if they get one right now, league might have to watch out.
Well, is this like are we seeing the Warriors on repeat? Just in a different color in a different city?
They play such different basketball, though.
very different.
Like the Warriors were all about the movement, and they were all about getting that open 3. Like watching Steph Curry run around the basketball court is just ridiculous.
Of course.
The Thunder are very much more that half-court team.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
everybody, we can get into the SGA foul baiting accusations, but like you watch somebody like Jalen Williams, he'll just go straight to the hole.
Yep.
He had 40 last night.
Yep. It's just about to bring that up.
Like the teams play very different, but as far as the youth of the roster, it could end up being like a similar run where they're just always there.
Yep. They had their vets on that Warriors team, but when they started winning and started climbing, they were younger.
Mhm.
Like Curry was mid-20s.
5th year, I think,
Yeah.
because he had those ankle issues at the beginning.
Just kind of where we are at with Shea. He's in, I believe, his 5th or 6th year. And
2018.
Yep.
Yeah.
so I don't know. It scares me. I've always said the Thunder are so close for so long with all those draft picks. With SGA, they had the 3rd overall pick with Chet. Like they've been so close, knocking on the door. And I thought once they burst through that door, it's over.
And if you really look at who they've drafted, there's really only maybe one full whiff as far as their early picks when you think of like Usman Jang, because everybody else they've taken has been like incredibly valuable. If you go from Chet to Jalen Williams to even the second Jalen Williams, who's not a huge contributor, but he's a good big off the bench, to Cason Wallace. They just consistently pick up these guys that fit in perfect, almost like what everybody used to say the
It's
Heat
all
used
via
to
the
do.
draft.
Yeah.
Like that's why I comp it similar to
Yeah, what free
Golden
agent? What
State.
free agent have they brought in?
None.
Caruso.
And he got traded.
Yeah,
Like that's like my comparison where it's
Hartenstein. There's one.
Hartenstein. Yeah.
One.
Like they drafted a lot, and that's so impressive. I mean, granted, they have 1,000 draft picks, so you got to hit on some of them. But like a lot of it is grown from within, which I think is special. You don't see a lot of that these days.
Ever.
Celtics, kind of, but really they brought in Drew Holiday, Kristaps, Derek White. You did have Jaylen Brown, Tatum, but like
You got to throw Peyton Pritchard in there too.
yeah.
But yeah,
But,
they
like,
did bring in
still.
a couple of guys, but they're another team that's built mainly from within. But if you look at, like you said, with the main way championship contenders are built, it's just opening up cap space and signing like 3 top guys in 2 years, a la what the Nets tried to do, what the Suns tried to do, the big threes with the Celtics and Miami way back in the day.
Yep.
And that's what, honestly, as much as I cheer against them because of the conference and, the rivalry between my team and theirs, it's very impressive to see what they've done and how they've gone almost in the exact opposite direction of where the NBA has been trending and have gotten to where everybody wants to be completely on their own.
Yep. Do you think that opens up I don't want to say a negative road for other teams, but like something maybe the league doesn't want, where it's like kind of like that path where OKC went on for 4 years, where it was like trade everything and take the third team in every possible trade scenario you get. Like everybody went to OKC and was like, you want to be the third team in this trade to dump, and we'll throw you 2 first-round picks. And they just kept doing it and doing it and doing it. And it just...
I mean,
it's clearly working now.
It is, but we've also seen the opposite side of that with the Sixers, because it was the same GM. Not to call out your boys, but we've seen what happens when those picks that you get don't work out.
Yeah, 100%.
Because we had 4 really great years of Ben Simmons, but unfortunately Markelle Fultz never got it. And you can list off a bunch of other picks. Yeah, how many other guys? It looks like they might. Maxey is a hit. Obviously, Embiid. When he cares.
Yeah. I love Jared McCain. I think he's.
I think McCain's a great pick.
I think
him going down was really hard to see early in the
definitely
year.
hard. I mean, he would have won Rookie of the Year. I think if
he would have been right up there, because he was averaging right up where Castle was too.
Yeah, he was averaging close to 20 before he got hurt, and then they were tanking, so he probably would have started putting up 25 every single game. I think the Jazz have kind of become that team where they do take a lot of salary dumps, and they end up acquiring draft picks. So like maybe the Jazz could be that next team that
I think the league may end up having to step in for that, because if that's just a rotating thing,
that's what I was thinking.
That's not the cycle that they really want, because then it can be like, people are going to say they're already getting called out for rigging the draft for the Mavs after trading Luka and all these other things. Last thing they need is even more controversy and people staring at things trying to find problems.
I get it. So let's go game 5. J-Dub, like you said, dropped 46-4. They needed that out of J-Dub. I think they would have lost that game if J-Dub didn't put that up, because I've been saying all series is if you have a stop for SGA and you figure out something with him, if J-Dub and Chet aren't there, it's over.
Oh, 100%.
All you have to do is lock Shea to like 25, and it's over.
Which they did. What do they have, 26?
Just last night he had 31.
Yeah, so they kept him like right at his average.
Well.
And most of those were in the clutch at the end when he had to take every single shot. And it seems like if you want to beat the Thunder, if those other guys don't step up, just don't foul SGA. Don't let him pull you into that. If you make him shoot contested threes, just like any other NBA player that's not named Steph Curry, it's going to be a pretty bad percentage of shot. That's the recipe. But if that depth steps up, I mean, the depth is what has carried the Pacers all the way to the finals. The rotation of Nesmith going for 30, and then Nembhard will step up. And then Halliburton will drop 20. And then Siakam's played fantastic.
28 points in game 5.
This dominant performance.
I've been raving about Siakam.
Dude, people need to give that guy more respect.
100%.
I think, honestly, the reason people don't is because the championship he won with Toronto was Kawhi. Everybody talks about Kawhi. And that shot against the Sixers and all the clutch things he did. But people forget Siakam was massive for that team.
We spent literally... I made sure we spent 10 minutes last episode talking about how actually great Pascal Siakam's stats are. If you go and look at him, I think he's put up 8 straight seasons of 20-plus points.
He's one of the most very consistent scorers, good defender, moves the ball, he can handle. He has everything you want from a modern big that can play the 3 or the 4 like he does. So I think people really need to lock in and look at him. His market is so far under where it should be. You compare him to like a Jalen Hurts.
And he
look at what this guy
sign much either. He doesn't sign much.
I don't remember the last time he did sign.
We were looking up some of his cards last week. There really aren't many, if any, autos. Like, it was a struggle to find anything. So he just doesn't sign. Yeah,
it's like sort of like Lamar, where he's in for 2018. And I don't even know if Lamar has signed cards since rookie year. Can't think of a single time he's been on a checklist.
So we were talking about like Siakam. Now, honestly, Siakam market is up, but it's also not like massive. Like, it's not a lot to invest in. But if you look at percentages, it's up like 100%.
Yeah, but percent from where it was, if you're looking at the amount of raise in price that SGA has gotten, or Jalen Williams coming off of his first All-Star, or even Chet, who still goes for a massive number because of the upside that he presents at his build and his ability. Siakam is way underneath that, like sort of like a Jalen Hurts, where if you look at what the guy's done and you look at the stats and how important he is to every team he plays for, it doesn't really add up in any way why his cards are where they are in the market.
Yeah. Oh, I love Siakam. I made the debate last week that I think Siakam, if he were to win another championship, I truly think you can make an argument for him to be in the Hall of Fame.
If he plays another 5-6 years at that level,
Yeah.
and with another ring,
Mm-hmm.
and he would probably be Finals MVP if the Pacers pull this out for how he's played.
Yep.
Unless they give it to Shea with like what they did to
Yeah.
McDavid for the Cup last year, where he just does not want that.
The NBA,
MVP.
the thing is that they don't like to do that. I remember LeBron, one of the years they played against the Cavs, dude was averaging like 30 plus a game, and everybody was like, "You got to give it to."
It was
LeBron.
like a 30-point triple double.
And I think that was the year they gave
it
it to Iggy, if I'm not mistaken. And they,
Well, if the aliens have the death beam aimed at Earth, you want Iguodala.
Iguodala. Oh, of course. And then there's Halliburton, who went 0 for 6 from the field.
Maybe the worst game I've ever seen Tyrese
That was
Halliburton
bad.
play. Like outside of his shooting, he would get the ball and nothing would happen outside
Yep.
of that. Because how many assists did he have? Like 5, 6?
Oh, I don't even know. Yeah, it was right about that. Right
Like
around there.
it's not even up to his standard of like people give him enough crap already for being like a
Yep.
17 and 10 guy
Yep.
when he's supposed to be the number 1 player. But if you actually watch, he's clearly their best player.
Yeah.
It's just that he doesn't force the issue and always go for the bucket and spreads the ball.
He's-
But that may be the worst game I've ever seen him
I
play.
don't. I have this debate like every day with people in stream. I don't think Tyrese is a superstar. I think he's a star, but I think he's really inconsistent. Like there's a lot of people forget because this playoffs has, as I don't want to say clouded judgment, but like Tyrese Halliburton did not have a great regular season. Like there were a lot of games he struggled, like really struggled, where he was putting up 6, 5, and 5, and that was it. And that's all you got out of him. And then he'd have the games where he had 29, 10, and 7.
Yeah.
And it's like, dang, he looks great. And then the playoffs, he's hit clutch shots.
Yeah, and as far as fantasy basketball goes, yes, that's really
Yeah.
bad. But when you watch the Pacers play, he does what they need him to do to win the game.
Yeah. Oh,
And
most
it's not
definitely.
flashy, and also if you look at who steps up in the clutch for them, how many clutch shots has Tyrese Halliburton
lot.
hit in this playoff run? The
Yep.
game 1 against the Knicks, he's hit a couple
Yep.
against the Thunder. Like that's where he shines, is the high pressure moment.
Yep.
Watching him play and box score watching on him will never give you the full picture of Tyrese Halliburton the way that it will for like an SGA or even like Jokic has both, I guess you could say, where you watch him and you're mind blown, but then you look at the stats and you're like, how is that possible? But Halliburton is really very much if you watch the game, it all flows through him. And I was shocked they were as close as they were with him playing that bad.
Yep. Here's a question I'll pose for you, and I know this is very biased, but this is maybe my judgment is clouded. If you were to pick between these two Tyreses, who's better, Tyrese Maxey or Tyrese Halliburton?
Which voice am I getting out of Hallie? The high one or the low one?
Low one.
All right, I'm gonna go with Maxey.
Is it different for high?
I don't know. He says 2 voices.
It's tough, dude.
I think I still take Maxey.
I think so too. I think Tyrese Maxey is a better scorer, a better defender, but Halliburton's a better playmaker and maybe a better leader. But it's also like
I think you could
It's
make
tough.
if you look at how the Sixers stay together and the lack of drama for how under
and Maxey's been through it.
yeah,
all.
how under expectations they played this year in a
Yeah.
city like Philadelphia, where if you aren't playing well, they're gonna tell you. And
Yep.
you heard pretty much 0 issues out of that Sixers locker room with Embiid just deciding he doesn't want to play basketball.
Yep.
Pretty much,
Maxey has never cracked under the pressure.
Maxey is the leader of that team, the real number 1 star, and you didn't hear a word. I think that is
Yep.
his leadership because
Yep.
everybody was looking to him.
Yep.
He was the guy.
I see a lot of pictures and videos of him training with like the rookies a lot too, which I think is great. Maybe Halliburton does that too. I don't know. I don't pay attention enough to Halliburton to see.
Well, the Pacers get 0 promo.
Yeah.
So even if you
Very fair.
tried, you might not find it.
I don't think Maxey gets enough credit. He's really good, and the fact that I think next year it's going to be Maxey's team,
100%.
we could see a 28 per game. Maxey.
It should have been his team the year after Embiid won MVP
Mm-hmm.
because that's when he really stepped up.
Yep.
Because
That's when they needed
was
him.
that when Harden left? Like was hurt.
Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
like as soon as Harden went down and the ball was in Maxey's hands,
Yep.
he was dropping 30,
Mm-hmm.
7, 8 assists, making every
Yep.
play, playing defense.
Mm-hmm.
He's the guy to build around.
Yeah, and I think that's what they are going to. I think they're going to take pressure off Embiid, where he can just play the center role. He'll score when he scores, but Maxey's going to score. McCain's going to score. Quentin Grimes is apparently like the next like OG Paul George out there.
I remember we would pull his rookie cards out of 21 and be like, who the heck is this guy?
Yeah. I mean, he Quentin Grimes isn't like
Listen,
an
he's better than
all-star,
Kevin
but
Knox.
like, dude, yeah.
He made the cover of Luca Prism. So.
If you look at his stats in the final like month of the season for the Sixers, they're like MVP caliber.
Yeah,
It's
but
insane.
as much as I love Keontae George, if you look at the end of season stats when he got all the minutes against the for the Jazz too, it looks insane. And then next season starts and you're like, oh right, he hits one of every 3 shots. He just takes 30.
No, it's very fair. Very fair. So Thunder are minus 200 to close out game 6. You think they take it and win the series?
It's in Indiana.
In Indiana.
No, I think the Pacers push it.
I think
I think Hallie is going to have to really grab this series by the scruff of the neck and drag them kicking and screaming into game 7.
I think it goes game 7 as well.
But I would not be willing to put big money down on the Pacers back-to-back beating the Thunder.
Yeah.
Because pretty much no one's done that all year.
Yep.
Of beat them multiple times in a row. I don't
Well,
think had they lost 2 games in a row in a series this year?
Thunder have not. That was the first time the Pacers have.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's a really, really tough spot for the Pacers to be in because you do not want to go into that arena. The Oklahoma City, that's their only team, really. I think it's their only professional sports team. That city is full Thunder and nothing else.
Yep.
It's going to be a hostile environment.
Yep.
Not that Halliburton cares. He threw the choke sign up to the Knicks in MSG. So
I would love to see us go to game 7, make this crazy, and it would be such a show. I think it'd be a great thing for the NBA too. Is like the thing is with like football, why we see such high viewership is because it's one game, settles it all. It doesn't matter what city, who's playing, people are gonna watch it. Give me game 7, winner take all. People are gonna watch it.
Oh,
I think.
100%.
And it's gonna be crazy, and it's perfect because they're small markets, and I think that'd be great for the NBA to see that.
Yeah, no matter what happens in this series, we're getting a first-time ever NBA championship for a team and for a league that for the last 15 years or so, people have really accused it of lacking parity.
Yeah.
If you think of how many years in a row do we have Warriors Cavs, and it was decided preseason that we were getting it again.
Straight.
4 or 5 years. Yeah. LeBron made the finals like 8 straight seasons or something.
Saw Celtics in the finals 2 out of I think like 3 years. Heat, 2 out of 3 years.
Like there's been almost zero parity and mix up in any of the teams other than the 1 year the Nuggets made it.
Yep.
And even then they played the Heat, who had been there
many times
2 years before, maybe I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an awesome thing for the league to have teams that aren't the norm getting a chance to add a championship. And I think they know that too, because look at all the commercials you see. How many times have you seen SGA and Chet on your TV? Like that What a Pro Wants commercial that we all never want to see again.
Every commercial break, and then there's the one of them like walking down the runway. Yeah, it's every 5 seconds.
And they added Jalen Williams to that one.
Yep.
Yeah, so they're putting all of them out there. Like they're doing their best.
Which is great to give small market teams that love.
It's great, but I also very much worry if they try to make SGA the face of the league, what that does to the future of basketball and how the league's going to run. Yeah. Because I just don't think that play style is conducive to viewership.
Oh, yeah. I get what you mean.
You know?
I get what you mean. Yep. All right, so hopefully it goes to game 7. That's what I'm hoping for. Let's talk about other news in the NBA. Magic traded Caldwell Pope, Cole Anthony, 4 first-round picks, 1 pick swap for Desmond Bane. Thoughts?
Wow. First of all, wow.
Yep.
I think one thing that people are very much overlooking, if you just look at the picks and the players involved, is KCP is a certified champion, one with the Nuggets.
2-time,
He's been, right? Yeah, with the Lakers too.
Lakers, yeah.
And he makes all those winning plays. Yep. Very important player to have. Very important player to have for your team. Hustle plays and everything.
Yep.
But what you need to remember is he's making $21.6 million next year. And then the next year has a player option for that again to opt into. So they had to probably add another pick or 2 just to get the Grizzlies to give him that amount of money. Because as much as I love him for what he did for my team, he's not a $21 million player.
No.
So I think that's an important point to make. But I do also really want to see what the heck is Kevin Durant going to go for if Desmond Bane is 2 pretty good players and 4 picks.
I wonder if that helps the Phoenix Suns case. That it has to. I don't think Kevin Durant's going to be worth a lot anymore, but it's going to be interesting. I just don't think I love Bane. I've always been a big fan of Bane, but I don't think he's 4 first-round picks. But what a lot of people are overlooking too is Desmond Bane's on a very team-friendly contract.
That, and also if you look at like the overall league averages of points, rebounds, assists, if you add them all up per game,
Mhm.
he is very high on that list. He just does everything.
He does.
And when Ja has been out for whatever stupid thing he posted on Instagram this time, multiple times, Bane has been averaging dang near 30.
Oh, yeah.
That team has
He's a
been
great shooter.
fantastic.
Great shooter. I would have just loved to see the Magic do something else with 4 first-round picks.
I
You
agree.
could have gotten Giannis for 4 first-round picks.
Would Giannis have gone?
I know. I've been saying since the beginning I would love to see Giannis on the Magic on that team. I think it'd be really good. And
Him,
shock
so it would be what would be, but what do you do with Wagner?
Yeah, it'd be kind of like a
You'd have to play.
double
You
stretch
just have to play a
four-ish.
really big lineup and have
Yeah.
one of like maybe Paolo goes to the 2 because he can handle,
Yeah,
and Franz the 3, Giannis is
Yeah.
the 4.
they'd be very big.
It would be a
Well,
huge
yeah.
There'd be a
If you ran a
massive
center, it'd be a
team.
little different.
Great
but
for
yeah.
2K. I don't know how that would go in
Oh,
real
yeah.
life.
No, I know. I that was something I would love, but I would just love to see them do more with 4 first.
I agree, especially because you could package those and move up in the draft.
Yep.
Like if you think about it this way, I don't know if they'd ever accept it, but if you gave 4 first-round picks to the Mavericks for the number 1 pick, you get 4 first-round picks and maybe Cole Anthony or
Mhm.
KCP to go get the number 1 pick and get Cooper Flag
Yep.
and just lock in that next superstar to put next to Paolo.
Yep. Or like it doesn't have to go for Cooper Flag. Why not like that Spurs spot? It's literally like would you rather have Desmond Bane for the future or Dylan Harper? Like,
yeah.
Why not
like-
go up to that Spurs spot? You go up to the Sixers. Well, they wouldn't need like an Ace Bailey, but like Spurs spot. You don't even probably got to give up 4. You have 3. And
Maybe
you get
2 and a
Dylan
player.
Harper for the future, but you got Desmond Bane.
2 and a player.
Yeah.
Like KCP with the Spurs cap space is actually a good fit for that team
Yep.
because they aren't paying anybody of that crazy money.
Yep.
But they got Fox on a max from the Kings contract,
Yep.
and I think that might literally be. I think Keldon Johnson's making like 30 million.
Yep. You could have given up like Goga too. Spurs need a center. Throw up whatever first round picks, move up.
Yeah.
Not that I don't think the Spurs are gonna move from that 2 spot.
Isn't
but
it crazy how the Spurs are the center of every single offseason move right now?
literally?
Everybody. KD wants to leave. Spurs are on his list. Giannis wants to leave. Spurs are on his list.
Yeah, I just don't think I keep having this fight with people. Not fight, but arguing with people that I don't think KD, and it's perfect because it's transitions, right? Where we're talking nice. I don't think KD makes the Spurs a playoff team.
I don't think KD makes any team a playoff
I don't.
team.
I think
That might be a hot take.
I mean, I
but-
think if he goes to the Rockets, they're already a playoff team, well fit. But if he goes to the Spurs, I still don't think they're a playoff team because if the Suns weren't a playoff team with Booker, Durant,
whatever is left of Bradley
kind
Beal.
of Beal, I don't think the Spurs are, respectfully to them.
I'm just so happy that the Wizards did not get the first overall pick because they've how many top tier talents did they get? But John Wall, Bradley Beal, Sar. That Sar is still up in the air. We don't know.
I like
but
Sar
how many
personally.
careers have just wasted away
Mhm,
on a max contract in Washington because they're not going to turn down that much money
mhm.
and nothing has ever come of it.
Yep.
Not like how many did John Wall make the playoffs once? Did Bradley Beal ever? When it was just him?
Bradley Beal did, yeah.
Like
'Cause
one
the
time?
Sixers beat him first round.
Yeah, like and they all
that was
they,
when
and
they
they
had
got-
Westbrook though.
Yeah, and they got bounced like first round, like you
Yep.
said. Like that's just where careers go to die. It's like the
Yep.
Jets for quarterbacks of basketball.
Yep. No,
It's
that's very fair.
tough.
I do like the Wizards' young core. I really do like. I'm a big Bilal Coulibaly fan. I think Bub's decent. Bub guaranteed.
Bub's decent.
And then I do like Sar, but they need a lot more. They
They're
need a
nowhere near ready.
lot more. And they have Chris Middleton.
Wha-
Marcus
whatever's
Smart.
left of Chris Middleton.
Whatever's left of those two. Yeah, I'll be interested to see where KD ends up. I do think KD ends up in Houston.
I think so too. I think they can
I
move.
personally would love to see him in Minnesota, but I think he ends up in Houston.
I think him and Ant would not be a
Oh, this
combo
was
that
fun.
works.
I said first I would love to see Giannis in Minnesota. I think that'd be a really good
Minnesota's
fit for
not
them.
winning anything unless they get rid of Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
So
I
don't.
think they need another star a true star next
if
to
you can
Ant.
get a tall guy that can't move laterally for so much less money than $40 million.
Oh, 100%. That's
Like-
why I keep seeing like a KD Rudy Gobert kind of swap.
Yeah, but what would Rudy do for the Suns either?
much.
Like I'm the
Just offer
I may be
size.
the number one Rudy Gobert hater, and it's like nothing against him personally, but brother, that guy is just what has any team with him on it ever done?
Nothing really. The Jazz always struggled. I think
Jazz-
they got to second round of playoffs once with him and D Mitch.
T Wolves have made the conference finals with him, but they always get rocked.
Mm,
Like it's
they need
not.
more out of him.
If this is 1980,
Mhm.
he's MVP
Right.
caliber.
But now
it's not.
You need more scoring
Yeah.
out of him. So we're a week away from the NBA draft. What do you think Cooper Flag means for AD and Kyrie's market?
I think that what it means is, well, Kyrie, we really have to see what he comes back with.
I don't think he starts the season.
If AD stays, I think it's a really good place for Flag to go, as long as, you know, the craziness and the that just happened doesn't like make him distrust the franchise. Because when you do something like they did with Luka, that leaves a lasting,
it's always in the back of your head.
That leaves a lasting scar for every player when they look at playing for that team.
Yep.
But I think it's a good spot for him. But I'm honestly not fully convinced that they don't trade that pick. Because if Giannis is trying to leave, the pick of Cooper Flag and something else to go get Giannis, would you take the ready-made lock Hall of Famer with a bunch of years left on him? Or do you go for the young kid?
It's tough.
Because you have AD and Kyrie, who are not young bucks anymore. We don't know what Kyrie's going to be like after the knee injury. I think if they can move that pick for Giannis, because the Bucks would take another ready-made superstar like that. And like he's used to the cold coming from Maine. Not that they play outdoors or anything. Like it's football, but like he wouldn't care.
Yeah.
Like I think that's a great move for both sides if they can do it. If he goes there, if they keep it though, you have to take him.
Oh yeah.
100%.
It'd be interesting, Giannis and AD in a lineup together. It'd be very interesting.
Yeah, who plays the 5?
Yeah, it had to be AD, but I know AD doesn't want to play. He doesn't want to play the 5 anymore.
He's like the reverse of Rafael Devers. He's like, no.
That's another thing. Literally can mention quickly too is that. But it'd be interesting though. Now thinking about it, if Cooper Flag goes to the Mavs, they'd have 3 first overall picks on one team.
Kyrie, AD, and him.
Yeah.
A huge gap between them.
Yeah, huge gap.
A huge gap between them. I mean, but yeah.
Yeah. Kyrie and AD were they back-to-back years?
I think Kyrie was 11 and KD was 12. AD was 12.
So
yeah, they were back-to-back years. Neither of them are young bucks anymore.
No. Yeah, they're getting older.
I mean, we've seen Anthony Davis. Charles Barkley calls him street clothes for a reason. Like, you can't trust him to stay healthy.
I know.
When he is, he's, oh my goodness, is he good.
He's top 5.
Dude, that first game with the Mavs when he was angry before he got hurt, he had 26 and 7 in the first 3 quarters?
When he's healthy, he is one of the best players.
Yeah, the Lakers had a fully healthy Anthony Davis for 1 playoff run, and they won the title.
Yep.
That's how good he is.
You just got to get him you got to get him to stay healthy. All right, so on to news in the hobby. Kobe LeBron dual auto sold for over $1 million. What a sale.
Massive.
Graded a 6.5 with a 9 on the autos. Thoughts on that? Because that is a massive sale. We've seen a bunch of massive sales recently.
Whoever's grading that autograph too, like, come on, just give it to him. It's Kobe and LeBron. Yeah. Come on. But massive card. I mean, it really shows that those products from the mid 2000s, right? That were just those logo men, the game worns with the autos, those duels are some of the most like almost historically significant cards that there are. When those come up for sale, they always go for big numbers.
Yep.
It's just nice to see the value that gets put on these guys of like GOAT status, and the value never goes down. They're always going to be in that place.
Yep. And I'm not sure exactly how many there are, but I can't imagine there are many LeBron and Kobe dual autos out there.
There's probably a few, because I think there was a stretch where Exquisite did like 1 each for like at least 5-6 years. But still, that's what, 5 or 6 in the world. Like,
so to have one of those, that's big.
Like you see now, like I don't remember this year's Flawless. You opened a lot of it. Were there dual logo men autos?
Yeah, there were some.
But very, very few.
iMac had them too. Yeah, there weren't as many. A lot of the guys that were on duels were non-auto guys.
Yeah, so like that's not even a thing that's common anymore to see with current products. So to have those guys on one card, game worn, and with the design of Exquisite and how nice it is, it's just unbeatable.
Yep. Oh, that's awesome. I wish it was me, but
yeah,
it was not. It was not.
If we pool our funds together, we can get about 1% of the sale cost.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we can make it.
We'll make it work.
We can make it happen. Then Steph Curry Topps Now card sold for the
my goodness,
the final game of the Olympics. Sold for over $500K.
More than some of his true RPAs, which is insane.
Yep.
But what a moment.
Yep.
I think a big piece of it also, the photo choice that they did for it is incredible. And I think that is a big piece of cards and why I've always loved the photography and the choices, people that they make with some of the images. I know Topps does really good with baseball with that, where they'll put some like silly things on it or like fun images. The image that you use for the card is so important. It doesn't change the fact that I'm mind blown that $500,000 was the sale for that, because like we said, Curry true RPAs aren't in that range.
I know.
Like insane.
Well, it's perfect you say that because so the one of one that was so the one of one from the game before to push them into the final also sold for around 70 to 80K. And it's funny because the guy who pulled it, so his like best friend reached out to me on Instagram months ago and asked me what I thought it was worth. And I was thinking it's a Tops Now card, maybe like 15K. Maybe. Man, was I way off. Way
Well, I
off.
mean, that's one of the biggest
Even
Topps Now
Golden
sales
told them
ever.
like 30K. No, 70 to 80K.
I mean, that's one of the craziest, biggest Tops Now sales ever. No question. That Curry might be number one. I don't even know if any of the Wemby's stuff went that high.
I doubt
For his
it.
rookie
I
stuff.
doubt it, honestly. Oh, yeah, it did.
It's number one. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's...
And I think probably by a decent margin too.
Yeah.
Like it, but also I don't. I may be wrong. Is that the only time Curry has done the Olympics? He may have done
Yeah,
it.
it
Like
was his
one-
first. It
that
was his first.
Yeah, his first.
'Cause
And,
that was the big thing because it was him, LeBron,
and
and
probably
KD. He's
only
never,
Olympics.
Oh, yeah, he won't be
because
going
I don't
back.
think he's doing it again.
No.
And for him to that means that card is not only a one of one moment and a one of one card, but it's the greatest shooter to ever play basketball who changed the direction of the league.
Yep. And you
In
won't see it again?
his biggest and international moment of his career.
Yep.
I mean, in ridiculous card.
Yep. No, that's
Insane.
crazy. That's crazy. So I move on to a couple community questions I have. Somebody sent in, do you think rookie card tops non-licensed autos will hold more value than their first year licensed autos? Like Wemby, JD, Caleb,
Yeah,
maybe
with the
like a
full imagery and
Ricochet.
everything.
Yeah, once you have that, what's going to go more? Their rookie autos or their first year licensed autos?
I honestly think it's going to be closer than people think, but I think
Makes
rookies
sense.
still holds the value.
Yeah.
What I do think though is that first year of licensing, it's going to be almost as big as the rookie chase to get those fully licensed autographs with the new designs. So it's going to be a lot of fun to open the product and because there's going to be a lot of big hits.
What case hits are you most excited about with Tops once they are licensed?
I think a Helix with
I was thinking the
licensing
exact
is
same
going to
thing.
look incredible.
Helixes are great. Helixes are beautiful.
Honestly, just the designs of the Bowman the Topps Chrome NFL. If you just place the images of what it would look like in your mind, the photo choices have been incredible. And so something like Midnight with licensing, like those, like the Lunar Strike insert and those things is gonna look incredible.
The one of the things that just popped in my head, maybe you know more. What I don't like with Tops sometimes is that they use old photos. I don't know if it's like that on the football side because they're wearing helmets. You probably don't see their face often. But with the basketball, there's like photos of Steph Curry. You can tell he's like 30, 29.
Is it on
in
like a
those photos.
flashback card or just
No,
his
it's
base
just like
card?
straight base. Where like you can tell these guys. You can tell by the haircuts. Giannis hasn't had his hair that short in like 8 years.
Well, I also wonder how much of that is necessity for them to make the card look good without having the licensing. Because it's really hard sometimes to make those images look palatable and like something that somebody would want to keep when it's just like it looks like a high school penny because you can't have any branding or ads on it.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably part of it because if you go back to when they had the license prior to when it went to Panini, the stuff looks amazing. Like, and the quality control on Topps is usually very good as far as Topps Chrome and Bowman and such. So I'm super excited to see what they do with it.
Have you seen the ultraviolets? The new case hits out of Topps Chrome. If not, dude, they are great. They are very clean. Very rare to hit, but they are very clean this year. Brand new. They look beautiful. Those would be very cool license. They also honestly they kind of hide it in the ultraviolets very well. You can't really tell that they aren't licensed, but they look really cool.
Yeah, Topps did a bunch of really cool stuff with the wrestling case hits where they did these WrestleMania cards where it's just like all silver, fully chromed out, except for the logo of the WrestleMania they're talking about and then a photo of the wrestler. Just super clean. And you know it's an SP because it looks like nothing else in the entire product. And I like that because Panini can kind of go in over the top crazy with some of these case hits where it's so wild and nuts that like, you know, some of the mangas are just
Crazy.
Unbelievably like in depth and everything.
Yeah.
Sometimes that super clean, just all chrome card is special. It looks amazing.
Time is coming. It's the licensing is going to switch very
early next year, right?
very shortly. For basketball, it's like September 1st. It's coming up.
I'm gonna have to watch your guys' shows when you get into that.
July and August are gonna be crazy for Panini. Crazy. They're already gonna rush out National Treasure. National Treasure's supposed to come out like a couple weeks ago. They pushed it to August. I mean, thankfully.
You think it's like a competition thing? Try to
They
take
want to get
market?
as much out before
Yeah.
they lose it.
That brings up with the football licensing
Mm.
because it's already June after last season.
Mhm.
No iMac, no NT, no flawless
Yep.
for Jaden Daniels' class of 24 yet.
So funny.
They
I'll tell you
can't do
something
that.
after
Are
about
they
that.
just gonna push every single product out in like no time to
Probably.
maximize? So we're gonna have like
Release,
Prism
release,
followed
release,
by
release.
Contenders Optic, followed by Contenders, followed by Select, Donruss
Yep.
Optic, everything in like 4 or 5 months.
Yep. Well, that's how basketball is about to be.
Dude, it's gonna be impossible to keep
Yep.
up.
We got Noir and Eddie T. Select just dropped. Spectre's going to be dropping. There's so many releases in this next 2 months
It's gonna be
that are going
wild.
to be nuts. Just so much. And then after that, what happens with basketball for Panini? We're gonna, I guess, wait to find out.
Yeah.
I hope they drop Flawless. I don't know what they're gonna do for that.
If they don't get it out before the license switches, I say just don't drop it.
Oh, 100, I 100% agree.
Like,
Especially with
there's-
this rookie class,
Yeah, there's no
I would 100% agree.
no point. Like the unlicensed logo, man. Can you even use the logo?
Yeah, I don't even know how that
Which
works.
is that? I don't think they can use logo men. That's the
No.
NBA logo.
Yeah,
They
they
lost
don't
the
have it
license to
anymore.
it, so logo men wouldn't even be in flawless. That's the chase.
Yeah, no, that'd be.
Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah.
And a flawless without logo men for NBA just isn't
Yep.
flawless.
Yep. Well, yeah, that'll do it for this episode of Buying the Hobby. Appreciate you coming on, Tyler. It's awesome. I love talking ball.
Yeah,
I
dude, we could
love
talk-
talking ball. It was
We
the
could talk for
perfect
hours if it is let the cameras
hours.
going.
I got so much on my mind with this draft and free agency coming up. Free agency starts in 2 weeks.
Insane.
It's literally July 1st. Technically, June 30th, 8 p.m. You can start like pushing out
Dude,
free agency deals.
those Shams bombs on Twitter are gonna
I
go
know.
nuts. Sorry, X.
Yeah, right. It's not a crazy free agency pool this year, but it's. I mean, free agency.
Honestly, I
always
don't know if
gets
it's
fun.
free agency. It's gonna be crazier than
It's gonna be
just
trade
the
deadline,
trade
dude.
deadline.
And it's gonna start. Shams saying it's gonna start like this week.
Mhm.
If I mean, it already started. Desmond Bain, KD's probably gonna get traded.
The fact
drafts
dude, the
next
Desmond
week,
Bain
so-
trade will not even be the craziest thing that happens
No.
this summer. I can almost guarantee it.
No, it's gonna get.
We're gonna see some nuts moves.
I'm excited. I'm really excited. I love the offseason. I respectfully am just kind of waiting for the finals to end, and then I'll heck break loose.
It's gonna go. It's gonna go crazy.
All right. Well, appreciate you having you on. Thank you to Bruce and Josh for coming on. What a time having those two on.
That's a tough act to follow.
All right. That very well trained dog. What an unbelievable dog.
Better than mine.
I'll do it here on Buying the Hobby. Make sure to follow us on all podcast streaming platforms, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you stream your podcast. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and then follow all the We the Hobby pages as well. Thank you for Tyler coming on, and we'll see you guys next week.